I want to show you also another way we use our breathing ball is as a point of focus. So remembering that we're always reminding our students and our kids that yoga is about a lot of things, right? It's about connecting your mind and your body and your emotions. It's also about controlling, so taking control of your energy. And taking control of your energy, right, means that you get to work from this really energetic place. But energetic, especially, this is really important when we're talking to kids. Energetic doesn't mean like, woo, crazy, I have a ton of energy. An energetic place, when we're talking about yoga and mindfulness, your energetic place is your energy center, right? So for some of us, we might consider that to be our chakras. And I won't go too much into that. I may here and there throw it in because I think it's a really beautiful visual reminder of our energy points and where things can be blocked sometimes. But I don't teach that to kids, not in that way, because like I've said before, I do kids yoga and mindfulness from a really practical place, an accessible place. And one thing I don't want to do is to make anyone feel excluded by terminology that I'm using, by something that may feel like it's imposing a certain set of beliefs. I don't want to do that. Having said that, here I go. This is turning into kind of a long one, right? Having said that, there are particular ideals that we hold to be true in yoga, and we know that. So do no harm, things like that, right? So what that means, what ahimsa means for all of us, we talk about that. Ideas of community, we talk about that in all of the work we do with kids in yoga and mindfulness. Working from a place of non-competition, right? So being our best, but not working from a place of competing with the person next to me. So we do always honor those really foundational pieces of yoga and mindfulness, but I don't get too specific when I work with kids about things like chakras and things like that, because I just think it's inaccessible in multiple ways, and if I can communicate to them ideas about an energy center and an energy line and where they find their energy, and then allow them to do that work on their own a little bit, I think that sets them up for future practice and where they might want to go with it. And maybe they do want to study those really traditional yoga concepts in depth, right? Maybe they will eventually, but for kids, it's just not, in my opinion, it's just not the time to impart that onto them, right? But we do want to teach them about their energy and where it's stored, and coming from a really energetic body, and knowing that an energetic body doesn't mean like, well, I'm out of control, I'm doing all this like hyper stuff, right? That's not necessarily an energetic body. An energetic body is one that comes from a really grounded place and can recognize, is my energy low, is my energy high, and then can also take some ownership and take some control, and I hate that word, but I am going to use it, right? I'm going to use it with kids quite a bit, and not ever in a way that is harmful. I'm going to use it to say, you are in control of your energy, you're in control of your energy that's in your body, and in control of the way it comes out into the world. You just have to practice it, and we all have to practice it, right? So that's what we work on. So constantly, I'm reminding kids that we are in this space, in this yoga space, in this mindfulness space, wherever it's at. You're coming from your energetic body, you're tapping into your energetic body and your energetic mind and your energetic emotion, and then you're taking control over your movements, over your expressions, over your communications. You're in control of those. not in a dominant way, but in a way that means you own them, they are yours to hold and to express however you feel is best, right? And when kids start to feel like they have some ownership over those things, kids don't really get a lot of control. That's the thing. So, and a lot of kids need it, particularly kids who might have some issues with anxiety, which a lot of kids do. Kids who may have some issues with ADHD and focus, kids who have other behaviors, as they are often labeled, they don't get to control much. They're told what to do a lot, right? They're told when to do things and how to do things, and they're told no a lot. And so one of the things we really want to do with yoga and mindfulness is encourage this idea of, here's something that you do control. Here's something that you do have power over, and it's you, and it's your energy, and it's not just you, your body. It's your energetic being, right? It's your energetic self. So, and we'll go through some more examples of that. So one way that I really stress to kids how to get that energy sort of harnessed and how to get that energetic body to be something that you have more control of is to use a focus point. And I love the breathing ball for focus points because it's cool to look at, right? So, and it's an easy cue because we already use it. So for our breathing, so now we can use it when it's scrunched up like this, we get to use it as another cue. So if I'm doing something with kids where it requires a pose, particularly where it requires them to stay steady and still, I will always put out my my energy ball, my breathing ball, you can call it whatever you want, energy ball, breathing ball, my focus point, right? So I usually, if we have a group, I'm going to put it, you can see that there, can you? I'm going to put it where it can be seen, and have kids, so this is going to be, you'll see this as you start working with kids more and more, that tree pose is always a hit. Everybody loves tree pose, I think, because everybody, for the most part, can do it, and it feels like something, like an accomplishment. That's part of why we do yoga with kids, is because it builds confidence by teaching them a skill. It's part of why we really stress this idea of competence for kids. Like, you can master some of these really kind of really cool moves and tricks that you can do with your body, and then you have a skill, right? A lifelong skill, which we know is incredibly beneficial for the future. So if I'm going to have kids work through tree pose, I'm going to put the energy ball right in front of them. I'll turn this way so you guys can see me a little bit better. Okay, put their energy ball right in front in a spot where everybody can see it. We're going to get our feet and our legs really sturdy. And I always remind kids that when we're in tree, this is one of our strength poses. This is one of our poses when we want to feel courageous, when we need to be brave, when we need to feel really confident. Tree pose is one to use and tap into because it's about finding a root, right? So this is our big trunk, and it's strong, and kids can feel this strength, right, in their body. And then our toes and our feet become where we balance, and they become our roots, right? So I have kids imagine that their toes are growing roots, and those roots grow way down deep into the ground, and they can spread really far as you need to get a really good solid grounding, right? So it's all about connecting to the earth, connecting to our surroundings, connecting to the ground, and finding a really deep root. And that's really important for kids to feel sometimes, all of us to feel sometimes. Okay, so you're grounded. You're going to bring one leg up, slow, and in, and hands to center, to your energy center. Remind kids to lift their bodies. And so your energy ball, your focus point, becomes where you let your eyes rest, right? So remind kids to focus all of their energy onto this one spot. So you can see this being an exercise not just in physical strength, right? And balance, but it's also a really strong exercise in concentration and focus and harnessing, taking control of that focus and emotional energy and physical energy, right? So you're putting all of it into the ball and you're reminding them to use the ball. And it's amazing how quickly kids will pick up on that and start to really use it. And so you can also imagine that you use the focus point for this and you practice it, right? And then you start cueing them to use it in other places and other times, right? So kids can use, once you start talking about focus points, then let's say you've got kids in a classroom, you can very easily cue them, what's your focus point here? When you need a break, when you feel yourself start to get anxious, or you feel yourself start to get, like your energy is about to get a little scattered and you're kind of all over the place, find a focus point, right? And they've practiced it, so it's really easy for them to cue into and use. Okay, make sure always that we're reminding our kids to do things on both sides, right? Because the other thing about our yoga practice is that everything needs to be in harmony and everything should be balanced. And the way to do that is to be sure that we're attending to both sides, right? So always do our poses on both sides to make sure we get that balance. And just be as strong and focused as you can be. You're gonna lift. Remind kids if they need to have another practice point, they can lift their arms. They can do arms out. They can do arms up. So sometimes we'll use this tree pose not just as tree singularly. You can also bring kids together and they can be an orchard, right? If you're feeling like building that sense of community. So you can imagine all the different ways you can use that kind of teaching, right? So, and we'll have examples of that when you see the kids in the classroom. And then we sometimes will use it when we do stories. So sometimes kids will be like, for Halloween, they'll sometimes make like a scary tree, right? With like branches that come out, or like for weather, sometimes they're trees that are blowing, right? There's just so many things you can do. I'll show you more examples. The kids will show you more examples too, because they use tree pose in just about every way that you can imagine. Okay, so just a quick little example of some ways to use breathing, use some manipulatives, being on your mats with your kids, with your students, and getting them some of those tools that they need and some of those really good reminders for checking in with our energetic body, connecting our energetic bodies to our minds and our thoughts, and control of our muscles and our behaviors and our emotions, right?